So this is our homeschool gradebook. It's now on version 5.4. It's been a while since I've done a video, another tutorial. I've skipped a few versions. It's kind of hard to keep up. So I'm finally sitting down and able to do one. There's a ton of new stuff and features in the gradebook from the last version, last tutorial. So I'm going to go through everything in detail and just like, as if you've never seen it. So one of the things we've added to the gradebook, especially so particular this one, is it's now got the shortcut panel in it. Not all of our tools do, only some of them do. So this is just a kind of a quick feature to navigate the workbook a little easier. So instead of scrolling through the tabs, especially if you start to add a lot of course tabs at the bottom for your students, this makes it a little easier to get through. So as an example of how it works, all these buttons here, some of the buttons, not all of the buttons, some of the buttons are pre-linked, and then a lot of them say custom. So you can custom link, to different. So, as an example, if you add courses over time, as you add courses, you can link certain ones. And I've got a tutorial here. You can click the button, and it's a 2 to 3 minute video, and it'll walk you through how to link those custom buttons. But the ones that are preset are just preset to the standard tabs in the workbook. As an example, I can go to assignment calendar, which I think this is one of the new features, is the calendar itself. And then in all the tabs, so if I would just kind of click through, there's a button in the top left, and that's to take you home. So that takes you back to this home tab. So again, I'll go back to the transcript, which this is new too, home tab, and then course template. So again, quick and easy way to get around. The next thing I'll cover is the dashboard. So one thing I've done is I've gone through and added the homeschool name to your dashboard, and then this will play into, I want to say, a couple tabs, but one in particular is the transcript. We'll cover this more in detail. But now, if you do have a name for your homeschool, it'll show up in your transcript, which is pretty neat. It shows up at the top, and then you'll have a place at the bottom if you wanted to add a stamp and make this kind of an official document. But this is nicely set up. So I'm going to go back to the dashboard. So you've got your homeschool name you can plug in, and then, of course, as a reminder, this workbook is just one student and then multiple courses for the student. I think I've got it up to 32. So I did have it 25, and I boosted it to 32 courses. So that's an improvement as well over version like 5.0. It's been through a couple of changes since then. So you set your student name, and then you set your grade level for the class or course or whatever. This is optional as well. As a matter of fact, if you're doing this over multiple years, this may change. So again, it's just an identifier. Use it if you'd like to use it. I probably need to update that and make a change because now it's set up to stem multiple grade levels. So again, set the course or student name, then you got your syllabus categories. So the weighting in this case, the weighting will occur in the actual the course tabs, not student tabs. So the weighting will occur here. So that's manual, and you can kind of control that for each course. But you can select the categories here. And these categories would apply to all course tabs in the workbook. Then you've got a couple metrics. The new metric I've added is the course count by grade letter. So, from A+ all the way to F, and you've got a number of courses where, where is the student mostly performing. So it's just another visual. The other charts have stayed the same. So you've got overall grade by course, and then average grade by syllabus category. Down here at the bottom, so the overall outputs for the entire workbook is you got the grade, category grade, which is up here. That's what this chart is based on. And then as well, you've got the student average, which is the 90. So next, we'll cover the course list. And again, for a single year, you might only add a few courses. I'm assuming 4, maybe 4 to whatever the number is. But I'm assuming somewhere around 4. Maybe it is more than that, but maybe it's 8. I think maybe 4 per quarter. But overall, you can add your course name, and then you'll add the course tabs, and there is so with the workbook, I'll make a note here. With the workbook, you only get, I think I've got it set for 5 course tabs. So it comes with 5. And if you look at, and you'll see those 5 are currently linked. And then you've got 6 through 32, and all of them say add new course tab, because you'll have to add tabs. So there is a, I'm not going to walk through that here. Normally, sometimes I do in the workbook, but I've been adding a lot more tutorials. So if you go to the FAQ, frequently asked questions, there is a, let's see, adding tabs that will link to your data table. There's a tutorial, 2 to 3 minutes, and it'll walk you through exactly how to add tabs for that and set that up. So go back to the course list, and that's all you're going to do with this. The rest of it is just information being pulled into the workbook. There's nothing else in here outside of that. Now, the gradebook scale. So it's set for A+ to F, and then 97 to 0%. So all the grading in the workbook is based on this scale. So if you know, as an example, I got a couple things to cover with the scale, but so one, the grading. So like grade A-, this A- is automatic, and it's based on that gradebook scale. So this is pretty typical. So as an example, if you're looking at this, it means if the student or the course, in this case, is a 0 to a 60%, that's an F. And then 60 to 63 is D-, etc. It goes like that. And in addition to that, because of the transcript, I've added a GPA function too. So this table, so if you get an A+, it's 4 points, A is 4 points, and then A- was 367. So I think this is standard for most colleges, universities. I'm assuming it's the same for most schools. I don't remember because I didn't pay too much attention to GPA in high school. So I assume it pretty much works the same. And if not, you can edit it and make it to where it's correct. But ultimately, these GPA points, and then I'll go back to that course tab, will play into your GPA scale points earned, which will kind of count on this course credit value too, which I'll cover when I get to these tabs. But chances are you'll never change this number. But that's the gradebook scale. So again, it's pre-set up. You can edit it, but chances are you won't even need to. Auto transcript we're going to come back to. Assignment calendar and summary we're going to come back to. So we'll go right into the course tab. So if I'm just working top to bottom, you've got the name of the homeschool. That's in all the course tabs. And these tabs are print and ready. So if I go to File, I'm going to hit Print. And it would print just like it. So it comes out as a really nice course report. So if you were teaching somebody else's children in your homeschool, then you could share course reports with them, which is a pretty nice feature. They're preset for that. And you've got the name of the student and the class that they're in, the overall grade. So I'll show you something else too. It's a lot, so it's probably not gonna let me do it. That's all right, I'm gonna cheat. So if I go to all these 90s, I'm just gonna change them to, I'm gonna change a bunch of them to zeros real quick. So now, see that grade went F? So anywhere there's an F in the workbook, it's going to highlight in red. So that's a nice little feature. I think I even did it in the, yep, right there, course list. So it stands out. So we'll go back to that. I'll change those numbers back. Okay, so then you've got your kind of overall performance and just some weighting numbers. These are just results. Again, your inputs for any of my workbooks are only going to be either the white or the beige. Everything else is automatic, always. In the middle, so I'm trying to do this somewhat flowy. So I guess we'll go over this first. So you got your curriculum categories. This flows in from the workbook. You can set your grade weighting. And then we'll go right into, from here, we'll go into the assignment log, and I'll come back up and cover some stuff up here. So the assignment log, you're going to choose from your class category. That's how it weights it all and does all that. You can add in your assignment names. Now, you can pre-list, so you got assignment dates too. And this is going to get kind of neat here in a second. But you can pre-list this entire, so if you got 70 or 80 assignments or whatever planned, this is actually be pretty neat. For the entire year, go ahead and pre-list it. So it won't mess up the grading until you add a grade. So it doesn't play. So as an example, if I come in and add homework and say, so it says homework 6. Hold on a second. Oh, because there's a 75. Sorry. That one didn't work like I wanted to. We'll come down here. So there's no grade. So let's say right here, I'll add in homework. So it sees it, but it doesn't change the grade. Nothing's impacted. And I'll need to check something. I can do it after the tutorial. I'm gonna look at something just to see. But anyway, the homework, you can add in some details and then add in your date. And you can pre-list all your assignments ahead of time. So I'm gonna take that back out. Now on the assignment dates, and this is a neat feature, so all these assignment dates will pull into your assignment summary. So I'm gonna end up coming back to the course tab. But all these dates automatically roll into based on your choice. So you'll be able to, whatever courses are showing up in your course list and everything's linked, within that you can go to your assignment summary and you can select which courses you want to look at, because you're not going to look at them all at the same time anyway. So I've got 5 in here technically. You're probably only ever looking at 4 or 5. So this is an entire summary of all the courses in your planning. Now let's pretend that you had a snow day or a couple kids were sick or whatever the case may be, and you're like, man, I got to shift all these dates. I got to move all my assignments. That'd be pretty painful to do, but it's not that bad. So what I've added is you've got a assignment date shift feature in the course tab. So, and as an example, all these dates, they match here, right? Your actual assigned date. These are the actual dates that pull into the summary. So let's pretend around, middle of the year that I end up having to shift a bunch of dates. I could come in and say, okay, I got to shift everything by 2 days. I could add a 2 and basically just drag that 2 all the way down as far as I need to and shift all the dates by 2 days. And I'm going to show you what that looks like actually up here, where some actual dates are at. So like 8/8, if I add a 2 in here, now that's 8/10. And if I go into the course summary, so I'll go and see the assignment summary. So let's see, that's homework number 1. So assignment summary, homework 1 for course 1 is now 8/10. And if I go in this summary, you'll see calendar selection is set to course 1. So you can see everything, but this is what the calendar shows. And if I look at the assignment calendar, all those courses are in here now. Homework 1 is showing under Sunday the 10th, which you may not want to schedule for Sunday, but it's up to you. So I'm going to go back to course 1, and I'm going to take that out. So now 8/8, and if I go back to the calendar, so now homework 1 is on the 8th. So it works out. So it's really, really easy to shift dates if you need to. Because I am kind of talking about it, so on the calendar, it's ready to print. It's going to print this entire visual. If you want to print it out, select the year. You can choose your month, January to August or January to December, whichever month, and then choose your course. And it's going to pull in, all this is going to populate, and it'll show you your actual course you selected, but all this information is going to populate in the thing based on the course you select. Now, it's not changing because what I pre-set up is all of it's the same. So as you edit, you'll see it change as you select your different courses and months as well. So if I go to September, I don't have anything in there for September. It's preset in the workbook. So back to course 1. So then you'll log your actual grades as you go through your assignments. And then you've got a curve function. So I'm going to show this. I believe I got to go back to the workbook or the dashboard for something. But so on the curve, I've got notes in here. I've got notes throughout the entire thing. But all of your grading that gets calculated is based on these numbers here, not these. So these are your actual grade, but they get applied, they get multiplied by your curve and to your adjusted grade, and then it's how you're grading your curve. So if it's set to a 1, whatever these values are is what the grade is. So if you're trying to make an adjustment and say, okay, that was a little hard, so I'm going to boost all the grades and plug in a 1/1, so now it's a 99. And then that's going to affect your grade. See how that works? So I'll go back to a 1. So it's preset to a 1 as if there's no curve, but if you need to add a curve up or down, you can do that. And then one of the neat features with the curve is, let's say you are homeschooling other students and you don't want to share this with their parents. You don't want to share curves. It's up to you. On your dashboard, there is a hide curves in course reports button that says no. So if I go to yes and go back, it's gone. There's no column. It's all still there. It's just hidden. So you can print the report without showing that, and it's you don't have to share that information. So I'll go back to the dashboard and turn that back off. So it's still there, but they just wouldn't be able to see it. So that's a nice feature if you do want to print the reports and share that. Now, I talked about the shift. So up at the top, so this is only designed for Excel, but it will work mobile if you want to use this like on online and SharePoint. Again, it has to be Microsoft Excel, but it does function. But there's some rules about mobile use and online use, and there's just some formulas and stuff that don't exactly work really well online or at all for that matter. So that's what this white box is, and it's in the PDF guide. I've got it noted here too. So desktop versions, the tab name, this right here. So you see course 1, it auto-populates as course 1. So it's a formula that does that. So desktop versions, the tab name will populate automatically. If mobile versions, fill out the tab name manually to the right. So if I was using this online in a mobile and not just on your desktop, you would need to type in the tab name, so course 1. Because what happens is this ends up erroring out, so I'll show you what that looks like. Well, I won't be able to, it's locked, and I don't feel like unlocking the tab. But if I took this out, none of this would link up. As an example, I guess I'll break it and show you what I mean. So if I just say course, and then it doesn't pull. So it doesn't pull the information. So if I go back and change that to course 1, and it'll pull in that information automatically. And then it's how it links to your workbook and stuff too. So it's just an important input. Other than that, so you've got in the course tabs, you've got a link feature. So just like I would if I change the name and I break the links, there's another way too. But let's pretend, for instance, you were teaching a student and then they kind of left, or they're no longer in your homeschool. Just something changed, and you may not want to lose all the history, or you just might want to just keep it. Sorry, not just student, or you change courses. I keep mixing up this in my student gradebook. Again, this is for one student. So let's say you decided a little bit in, okay, I'm not going to teach this course. We're gonna edit or something. You're gonna edit your entire assignment plan. Something changed, so you could kind of, instead of deleting the tab and editing everything, you start with a new tab and unlink this one. And how that will look is, see it says link to dashboard. That's a tutorial button that explains how it works. But it's all you gotta do is go to no. So remember, course 1, I'm gonna show you this. So in the course list, course 1, everything's linking. And it says update course tab where there's no information that exists. So if I go to course 1 and now I hit no, it unlinked, see I dropped out. And if I go back to that course list, it says link course tab. So now that course is no longer playing into your overall dashboard data. That's kind of how it works. And it's not playing into your transcript and all the other stuff too. So see, it's course 1 and it dropped out. So it doesn't see it. So then you can keep that course history and you could do something different with it. Or you can add it in a different tab and link a different tab. Again, I got a tutorial that explains a little more. So I'll change that back to yes. And that essentially covers the course tab. And I've kind of covered the calendar and the summary. So let's look at the transcript. So you'll notice over here, course 1 through course 8. I've got it set up to where it's 8 courses a year and it's summarized, and then it summarizes the overall GPA. And then your grade scale and your GPA scale that you use, whatever you input, will show up. So, because I think most transcripts have that information on there or somewhere that shows kind of how all this grading was determined. And then you've got, so you can come in and select which courses you want to put together in case you do something out of order or whatever. This is just option. This is editable. I'll say it that way. Now, one thing you'll see is earned GPA points is 12, and it's always 12. The way the math works, it's always 4 points per credit hour. In college, you get different credit hours. So if you go to a lab, it might be 2 credit hours, and a really difficult class might be 4 credit hours, right? So I have that function and ability to edit that, but I have all the classes set to a 3 credit hour. I think most high schools and cases, all the classes, unless you're taking some AP or something a little more complicated, they're probably all weighted exactly the same. So I have everything preset to a 3, but if it's harder or it's worth more or worth less, you can change this value. And as an example, if I do that, that's going to go from 11 to a 7. And then your overall GPA is going to change because I weighted this a little different. And that'll automatically flow into all your calculations and the transcript and everything. It covers the course tabs, scale. So I think that's everything. If you have questions, don't feel free to shoot us a message. We'll help you the best we can. I will note between the tutorials, I've got a PDF guide that comes with the product. It should be pretty helpful. It might even cover things I forgot about here. And then throughout the entire workbook, I kind of said this earlier, but any of these the red flags, you can hover over, and there's built-in notes. Some are good, some are examples, some are just kind of generic notes. But I try to do a decent job of anywhere people have had questions before. So even up here, right? Anywhere people have had questions before, I drop in a note to kind of help, and it make it simpler, make it a little better for later, a little easier to use and follow. Anyway, if you got questions, shoot us a message, and thanks for watching.